While trying to come up with an intro for this video, it got me thinking of Star Wars as a whole. But more importantly, what makes a Skywalker a Skywalker? And I came into an interesting list of things. So, for a Skywalker to be a Skywalker, they must achieve all of these things, or at the very least, most of these. Number 1, they must be strong in the Force, given. Number 2, they must be a pilot of some sort. Number 3, must have an android or a robot companion. 4, must have contact with Obi-Wan or Yoda, either that's physically or through the Force. Number 5, they gotta throw hands with the Sith. Basically, any nigga with a red lightsaber counts. 6, has to beat or survive an encounter against a Sith Lord. 7, has to lose or break their lightsaber and then fix it or replace it. Doesn't matter. 8, they gotta lose a limb, or at the very least have some type of physical damage done to them. 9, they gotta throw hands with a person close to them, whether that be a mentor, master, loved one, child, father, doesn't matter. And number 10, and the most important of them, they must go through some sort of mental anguish that makes them question who they are and if they really about that life. And then when I was thinking of that, I realized something. All that shit applies to Cal Kestis, the main character of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Released November 15th, 2019, the game follows Cal, a Jedi who survived Order 66, and is brought back into the fight against the Empire, while also being hunted down by some Inquisitors. Alright, that's enough of the backstory. Let's hop into the game. Run it!
Jedi.
But I'm done hiding.
Cal Kestis.
We will always struggle. It's the choice to keep fighting that makes us who we are.
The story starts off with the main protagonist, Cal Kestis, working his 9 to 5. Yeah, ain't he that one gay nigga from Shameless? Ian? Or the Joker from Gotham, for those that didn't watch Shameless. None of that matters right now. Ian is chilling, working for the Empire, breaking down ships to harvest their resources, and just basically keeping his head down. He's asked to complete a dangerous task, but it does come with the perk of being paid double for the day. So, being about his money in the bag, and having no OSHA around, Ian does the task along with his buddy / best friend, Slugface. He has a name, but the shit won't matter in a couple of minutes. The pair completes the task and finds a downed Jedi ship. Slugface then starts to talk about how Ian should take the ship and just sell it and just leave. Basically, it was like that one scene from Good Will Hunting when Ben Affleck was like, I'm gonna die here, but if you're still here, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm paraphrasing, of course. I don't know, I didn't watch the damn movie. Anyways, the duo run their mouth so much that they end up not clearing out before the wing cutter comes and does the wing cutting, as the name implies. Ian manages to save himself, but is kind of forced to use the Force to save Slugface, even though there was an Empire droid just chilling right there. So you already know these niggas getting caught. But he did save his man because he's not expendable. Even though he kind of is, like, ain't I right, second sister?
Yes. You are.
God damn! No!
The Empire finds out almost immediately and sends 2 Inquisitors to handle the discovered Jedi. Yeah, they only send 2 Inquisitors for the whole game. Ian is able to hit the dip and takes off running. He also gets some assistance from random shit, but all of that almost ends in vain since second sister decides to run the ones with Ian. And boy damn near got fully washed, no soap. But ultimately, he's rescued by the unknown ship. Now on board, Ian meets his saviors, being Captain with 4 arms, whose name really doesn't matter. But who does matter is the woman of the ship, Female Boozy, or Beans from Rango.
Would you do something
she
like
looks like
that?
her as well. It's all in the eyes. The duo came to save Ian once they heard the Empire was coming from. They also want his help on rebuilding the Jedi Order again, so they head straight to planet Bogana. While traveling there, Boosie mentioned that she used to be a Jedi and knew Ian's master. Ian in turn shares that his connection to the Force has been damaged, but he does have like a cool up power where he could touch things and see the history and past of it. The nigga basically has ED for the Force. A round pill might help him out. It will make sure that the Skywalkers aren't the only ones rising. They arrive at a planet where Ian must travel to a vault.
I believe that vault holds the key to rebuilding the Jedi Order. But it requires someone strong in the Force to pass its test.
And since you're not a Jedi anymore, that's why you need me.
I know you don't trust me. And I'm not really sure I trust you. But we have a common enemy. And a common cause. I'll share more of my plan after you reach the vault. But, until then, there's someone here I think you should meet.
Nigga, that's not how the fucking Force works. Just cause she isn't a Jedi anymore doesn't mean she can't use the Force. So Ian isn't all that necessary. Granted, it's explained further on, but is that a quick nitpick for me? While exploring, Ian stumbles across BD-1. Yeah, it stands for Big Dick 1. With the assistance of Big Dick 1, Ian is able to remember some of his training, remembering how to run on walls, so he's remembering how to parkour! Parkour! With the power of parkour, Ian makes it to the wall where Big Dick... Okay, I'm not calling him Big Dick 1 anymore. I'll be calling him to me. I'm just gonna call him Johnson. I like that. Johnson plays a hologram of Master Jedi Corona. That's not his actual name, but I'm not about to try to pronounce it. He's created a list of Force-sensitive kids and their location. So simply put, the list of kids is in the vault created by the Zepho, but Ian has to prove himself by seeking out the hidden tombs of the 3 sages. One of which being on the Zepho homeworld called Zepho. I know. Creative. Basically, Corona wants people to go on the journey to truly study the Force or something. Yeah. With Zepho locked in, the group flies over to Dathomir. You may be wondering why I came here. It has nothing to do with the storyline at this current time. I'm gonna be honest. I just did it for the dual lightsaber staff. Granted, Ian also does meet a Night Sister and the Merchant from Resident Evil, but I only came here for the staff. Which is dumb as shit since this is like, you could actually miss it, I think. I don't know why they didn't try to put it into the main game like another lightsaber later on. Arriving on planet Z, Ian managed to find the first tomb, where Johnson proceeds to play another holocron of Corona. He takes notice of a tree that's been carved into stone, and immediately concludes that the Zepho went to the Wookiee home planet Kashyyyk, so that's where the group heads to next. Ian comes through blasting on the Empire as soon as he gets on Kashyyyk. He then meets up with Forrest Whitaker, his character, I think it's Saul. He's looking for the chief Wookiee of the planet.
So, who are you looking for?
A Wookiee chieftain named Tarful.
Tarful is impossible to find. There's a reason he's evaded the Empire for this long.
He's a freedom fighter?
He's the freedom fighter, a symbol of the Wookiee resistance, striking at the Empire from the Shadowlands.
Huh. Seer, Grease, this is Saul.
How you doing?
What do you want with Tarful?
Jedi business.
The Jedi are dead.
Not all of them.
You get that off a corpse?
My master gave it to me.
This pad supports an Imperial refinery that runs on Wookiee slave labor. Intel suggests that some of the captains there are guerrilla fighters.
I should help them. One of them might know how to contact Tarful.
It's possible.
Freeing the Wookiees, the rebels agree to look for the chief while Ian and the crew of the Mantis returns back to planet Z. The Mantis is the name of the ship that they've been flying in, and the reason why they returned to planet Z is because Boozy and Four Arms intercepted Empire comms, and turns out they found a tomb on the planet. Ian finds the tomb. Oh yeah, he also runs hands with Second Sister again and ends with a bomb drop.
Surprised she didn't tell you. Sarah was never good at keeping secrets.
And you know her so well, huh?
She was weak, cracked in an Imperial torture chair, surrendered the location of her naive Padawan. They would never have found me.
If it wasn't for her.
Trilla.
In the flesh.
Oh yeah, earlier on Boosie mentioned that she and her apprentice Trilla was captured and that Trilla had also died. Trilla then exposed that Boosie didn't cut herself off from the Force, but had used the dark side of the Force. With this revelation, Ian is forced to push it aside as he completes the tomb, which ends with Corona telling him that he must go find an atrium. But before he could get back to the Mantis to go look for it, he gets knocked out and captured. Yeah, he managed to get out of his cell, finds Johnson, and is forced to fight in an arena until he is ultimately saved by his team. Ian tries to confront Boosie about Trilla, but is slightly interrupted when a fighter from Kashyyyk contacts them, informing them that they found the chief, and he's willing to help. Ian meets up with the rebels in chief, who points him to the top of the tree that Jedi Corona found wisdom at. While climbing, Ian runs to the ninth sister, who, instead of just getting right to the point and throwing hands with him like on sight, she decides to try and shoot him, which results in the ninth sister getting ran into by a random flying animal, which Ian proceeds to help, which makes it form a bond with him, allowing him to ride it to the top. Pause. On top of the tree, Corona appears ecstatic that he was able to find an atrium on top of the tree so that he doesn't have to go back and find the one on Dathomir. With the location of the atrium in hand, Ian starts to leave until the ninth sister pulls up looking for the ones, which Ian gladly delivers.
Being an Inquisitor taught me no setback is too great. When you've already lost yourself, a limb's easy. You know, I was a Jedi. It'd be fun to bring you in. Watch you crack like the rest of us! Oh, angers you. Just wait till the isolation, torture, mutilation, and your breath! I won't let you touch them! You can't stop the Empire!
I can stop you.
Bye, have a great time.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but she more than likely survived. Like, hell, we seen Darth Maul get sliced in half and survived, so I doubt she's dead. She just gotta walk it off. Anyways, the group hits the Dathomir, where Ian proceeds to get lectured by the Night Sister on why the Jedi are nothing but liars and death spreaders, getting attacked by the Court of Owl's mascot, entering the tomb just to get sent back to the day Order 66 happened, revisiting the death of his master, just to then have a conjure-up version of his master appear, who he then proceeds to try to fight, which leads him to crushing and damaging his lightsaber.
I got stabbed. My blood is on your hands, apprentice. You are a failure, a weakling, a traitor. You are no Jedi! No!
Stupid, I'm not gonna let you.
Leaving the tomb, the merchant tries to convert Ian to become his follower. I think, not so sure, he does come out with the fact that he was a former Jedi and looks somewhat like Obi-Wan. Number 4. But Night Sister comes in and basically pushes back against his words and ideology. She then says fuck both of them and summons zombified versions of her people, which forces Ian to turn on his burners and dip. Boozy notices that Ian is going through it and that his lightsaber has been damaged. This causes Boozy to first explain what happened when she tapped into the dark side of the Force, and how she had just too much hatred in her. All that to say that they can't change what happened in the past, and that they have to keep moving forward. So, she decides to take him to build a lightsaber on an ice planet that Yoda used to take him to. She also gives him her old lightsaber to fix the one he broke, for like spare parts and pieces. Venturing through the caves, Ian manages to find a kyber crystal. Which immediately breaks. Damn, my man is going through it. But thankfully Johnson came through with one last message from Jedi Corona, addressed to Johnson, basically saying not to give up hope and giving praise for Johnson being so helpful. This hits Ian in his shonen area of his heart and gives him the strength to get back up. Using the kyber crystal and Boozy's old saber, Ian makes his own lightsaber with the ability to split into 2 separate sabers. Now rearmed, Ian slides back to handle the illusion, which he beats, not through using his weapons, but instead being able to let go of his dark feelings about what happened in the past, and just letting it be part of him. Pushing forward deep into the tomb, he runs to the Night Sister, and manages to make peace with her. He also tries to make peace with evil Obi-Wan, but it didn't work, so Ian said fuck the peace and picked up the piece to put the nigga 6 feet deep. Literally thanks to Miriam helping. Marion, she's a Commandant, fuck it. Marion is the name of the Night Sister. Ian finally gets his hands on Atrium, and before leaving, he managed to get Marion to join the crew of the Mantis, given the fact that she ain't got anything else to do. Ian returns back to the vault, but before he could get the list, the Zepho gives him a vision of the future, one where Ian becomes a teacher to the new Jedi. But they end up getting caught, killed, and captured. Also, Ian becomes the Inquisitor, so the possible future don't look so bright. Finally, with the list almost in hand, Trilla pops up to run the hands even more. This time, Ian disarms her to his own detriment. She gets her hands on the list while Ian ends up force grabbing her lightsaber, which causes his special force powers to activate, causing him to see what happened during Order 66 through Trilla's eyes. From Boozy leaving her with the younglings, to her being tortured, all the way to when she puts on the helmet to become the Inquisitor. She gave this nigga non-flashbacks, had him remembering every time a chick curved him. With the list of kids in the hands of the Empire, the group is forced to attack the Inquisitor's base. But before then, Ian is made a Jedi Knight. Finding his way through the base, Ian finds the list, but is forced to fight Trilla for the last time, finally defeating her. Boozy tries to bring Trilla back to the light side, and it almost worked. Until Vader pulls up and kills Trilla. Yeah, Mr. Big Black Choker himself pulls up and gives Trilla a single back shot, making her one with the Force, and then proceeds to just force toss Boozy. Ian tries to throw hands with the Sith Lord, like number 9, but is ultimately forced to run. And that shit damn near didn't work, since Vader went to the Batman school of popping up on niggas. And he's only saved thanks to Johnson and Boosie tapping into the dark side. Ian manages to escape back to the Mantis. Somewhat, he had to be saved by Miriam. Waking up, the gang is conflicted on what should happen with the list, mainly leaving it up to Ian, who decides to just destroy it, since it would just put a target on children's backs. And with that, the game comes to an end. Alright, that's it, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Overall, a very solid game. Now, am I saying it's the best Star Wars game created? No, but it is in the top 10. The story, not mind-blowing. It doesn't have any twists, and it's very straightforward and plays it safe. It's the definition of a from point A to point B type story. It was solid. It was safe. Gameplay, it plays like a Souls-like game, somewhere nowhere near as demanding, but requires attention. Very similar to like the 2018 God of War. It's like you have to stay in your P's and Q's, and you'll be fine. Also, the Force abilities aren't the best. There's only like 3 of them, being push, pull, and slowing down time. I would like there to be more Force powers in the next game. Oh, also, I want the dual lightsabers to be their own form and not just a special attack. It felt weird. Like, you could have 2 lightsabers out at once. Whatever. It just feels weird. The enemies was cool. One thing I didn't like was the lack of bosses that weren't optional, and the reuse of bosses. Basically, I have the same complaints as people had for God of War, and that's really it. Alright, if you like what you saw, hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And with that being said, the galaxy needs me. Farewell.